Je suis un moine bouddhiste et je suis homosexuel. Cela ne fait pas de moi un mauvais moine. I am a Buddhist monk, makeup artist, and also an LGBTQ+ activist. I was born in a temple in Tokyo, Japan. My father is a Buddhist monk. When I was around maybe 3 years old, people expected me to become a Buddhist monk, and they would say, "Oh, when are you gonna shave your head?" And I was like, no, like, why do I have to be a monk? What I loved was Disney princesses and Sailor Moon. I wanted to be like a princess. So shaving my head was something like totally opposite from what I wanted to do. So I was very, very rebellious, and I really didn't like Buddhism. I like to call myself gender gifted. I'm both boy and girl in one body. I know my body is male, I'm comfortable with it, but somebody who sits in my cockpit, I don't think it doesn't have a gender. When I was 24, I decided to come out to my parents. My father knew that I was homosexual when I was in high school, but he was very worried for me because in Japan, LGBTQ people can be fired from work for their sexuality, or maybe the community around, for example, the Buddhist community, might not accept and maybe discriminate me. I became a Buddhist monk because I was always hating Buddhism and I was very rebellious and skeptical. But my mother told me that if you don't know Buddhism, how can you hate it? And I was like, oh, that's true. So I decided to see how it's like. And what I found out is that it's very inclusive, it's very welcoming. When I was 24, I joined the monk training. The monk training consists of 5 sessions. Each one is about 2 to 3 weeks. We wake up at 5:30 every morning, we chant for hours and hours and hours. We have 7 hours of classes and exams. So it's a really hardcore training. We chant like Nam Shishin Kimyorai. When I was in the monk training, I was very worried because I like to wear makeup and heels. Can I be accepted? Can I be welcomed by the Buddhist community? My master told me that the most important role of a Buddhist monk is to help people feel equally powerful, that we can be liberated equally, regardless of any differences. And when I heard that, I felt that I can be myself and be a proud monk. I think Buddhist monk essentially is somebody who helps people using Buddhist wisdoms. Buddhism is a series of life lessons. It's not necessarily a religion. So Buddhism is something that evolves and changes depending on where you find it. I know that in Thailand, we see monks' traditional styles and they live very strict life. In Japan, Buddhist monks, they get married, they have different occupations as well. In Japan, women can also be monks. My mother went to the monk training when I was around 3, so she shaved and left me and she was in the monk training. So in Japan, I think that the door is very wide open and everybody can participate. So I feel very lucky, and they also accept and welcome LGBTQ people. When my story was introduced on the media, many people commented, "You're not a real monk, family dishonor." I was very hurt because I went to the training and I have the certificate, and all my life I lived in the temple. So I realized that people are not very aware of the diversity of religious leaders. And let me tell you, my favorite comment that I liked was, "Next will be a bishop porn star." In my monk community, I have spoken to some LGBTQ people, but they come to me privately, maybe Instagram DM, and they say, "Oh, I'm a homosexual, but I cannot come out." So it's still very difficult for people to be themselves. And I really want to be like a great role model, being happy and out and being successful.